So it's gonna be a rough day. I got my finger smashed.
Do you like spending your birthday combining wheat?
Nothing like working on your birthday. Ladies, do we need more time? Hello. Hello.
Look at that, last pass of wheat harvest 2022.
Hi, baby. So that's been the big surprise. Very excited about it. Good morning. It is Tuesday. We actually did get rain the other day, not near as much as they had told us, promised us, but it did keep us out of the fields for a couple days. Carissa's just feeding here, so it's a little loud. I want to pop in and say that yesterday was day 18 for this breeding group, and indeed they were starting to breed, and today, and it's cooler, I'm in a sweater, so the timings worked really well. They are busy. There's little heads bobbing everywhere back here. Of course I can't show you, but you'll have to take my word for it. So I am glad I gave them 2 cycles. You know, the first cycle looked really successful. There was lots of breeding, lots of smearing, meaning like the rams were rubbing off the paint off the back ends of the ewes. That is why I typically do 2, just in case they were all action and no real business, if you know what I'm saying. Today is going to be a rough morning. I have been working on Mama Red since Saturday, I believe. Yeah, since Saturday. Today is Tuesday, and I think it's finally the day that I'm gonna have to put her down. She just cannot get on those back feet. I just finally got her just kind of nibbling a little bit yesterday, but even that, she's not eating near what she would typically. So there's something going on with her. So it's gonna be a rough day. Look at you! See how she's weak on that back leg? Back left? Chris and I went across the road and weighed those market lambs. It's been 2 weeks since we did the other 2. The last 2 trips have been fairly full. This one was actually only 19 ready. I'm just gonna quick go over the stats. I know you guys like that. Minimum weight was 105, max was 123 pounds for an average of 109.8. So that's fairly consistent. 32% were Rito, 21% tuna, 16% Dorset, 11% Suffolk, 5% Steel. And then it says 16% not recorded. This has been my worst group for missing tags. I bet you we've lost between 5 and 10 tags, and I usually don't lose any until they're maybe a little older and get rustling around in here or getting rubbed on a feed manger. So that's odd for these tags. So whether I didn't get it high enough, close enough to the top of the ear, I'm not really sure. So when it says not recorded, it just means I had to put in a new tag, so I've lost all that data, which I don't like about this system. The other thing that happened, I'm going to quickly become looking like Mark. I got my finger smashed. The lambs over there in that weigh crate, the door, if they see a lamb going through and I don't move my hand quick enough, they slam the door shut and my finger was still kind of inside it. So that was dumb and it hurt. Not quite as bad as Mark's, but we're gonna matchy. Oh, and today is Mark's birthday, so I'm gonna have to find him and wish him a happy birthday. Nothing like working on your birthday.
That's what happens when you have a birthday in July.
That's true. We are putting a fungicide on our soybeans. Probably doesn't need it this year. We're not really sure, but Mark's philosophy is to never give up. So he's keeping with that. And we're just hoping we get a little more rain that the fungicide would be needed.
Some of it too is stress mitigation with the drought.
Right.
So we're putting a bit of a foliar feed on as well because it's harder to get nutrients into solution because there's no moisture in the ground, or not a lot. So giving a little bit of a spa day.
I always laugh because I figure if nothing else, at least they feel like they're getting a little drizzle on them. An expensive drizzle. We're almost done our soybean acres, and then I think you're gonna start corn this week.
Yeah,
if we get
I'll
wheat done.
Corn tonight or tomorrow? Probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning. And then you'll do all the corn acres.
Yeah, we have this disease that's relatively new called tire spot. Kind of showed up last year in a big way in Ontario, and it can really decimate a corn crop if you get it. So we're going into August, which is a time that we tend to get heavy dews. We had a heavy dew last night, this morning.
True.
And then that's kind of conducive for patho growth for funguses. So, and we're getting a lot of south winds. So like if there's some tire spot in like Indiana, Ohio, or Illinois or Michigan, it can blow into Ontario here. And then if you don't spray it, and then all of a sudden you get like a month of heavy dews, you could end up with tire spots. So we saw, I think it was close to 20 bushels last year where we sprayed a fungicide versus a spot where we didn't. So we got a 20 bushel yield increase. So I'm not expecting that every year, but just really have to kind of protect the corn now, regardless of, you know, its yield potential is still pretty good. It's not like what it was last year, but we kind of just gotta take our time and protect it anyways.
Right. Okay, I'll let you concentrate. Oh, that mat really smelled. And if anyone has smelt rotten, wet wheat or soybeans or whatever the heck that was, you can relate. We are gonna nose into the field. I think today will be our, oh, I just wiped that in my hair. Oh, I did it again. We're gonna head back to the wheat field we opened up the other day. And hopefully this will be our last day at wheat harvest. Few little tricks from the wagon seat for filling wagons is to get them kind of as straight as possible, so when Monty or Jess or me has to fill them, it's easy when you have to top off the wagons, when you have to go forward and back. If they're really straight and in line, it's quite a bit easier than when the back wagon's kind of on a little bit of a tilt. And then the other thing is we have tarps on these wagons. I don't know why, because it never rains, but what I try to do is keep the side that the buggy driver is unloading. I like to keep the side with the tarp off on that side. It just makes it a little bit lower and easier to look into the wagon. I've got caught a few times where I get the tarp side, and it can be challenging, especially our two new wagons. They're really high, and it just makes it challenging for your sight, so then you don't see the grain until it's at the very top, and then you're like, whoa. Whoop. Go. Yeah, so those are my two little tricks if it's your first year as a wagon driver. Other than that, it's drive your wagon, unload your wagon, drive back your wagon, fill your wagon, and repeat. So we are pretty sure this wheat is too wet, so it's going in the overhead or the wet bin. Yeah, it's 18.4, and Mark said it was reading over 18, and I could tell. I've felt so much wheat in the last few weeks. It's got that waxy feel again. So yes, it is too wet to go in straight into the bin. We are gonna dry this stuff. We've already dried some other wheat here, but we want to get it done and off. There's not much left, and I've got a pretty busy week this week coming up with the sheep, so I just told him today was a better day for me, even though it's his birthday. I feel kind of bad about that. However, we do what we do. We're actually into our very worst wheat right now. Mark is hoping we can maybe scrape out maybe 80 bushel. This is the stuff we planted in November, and there was nothing showing before the snow started flying last winter. So this is the field that we were doing the other day, and I think we were seeing spots even over 100 bushel, but it was planted, even that part of the field was planted a couple weeks before this part of the field. So just so you know that this field is so random and so like up and down. All right.
Do you like spending your birthday combining wheat?
Well, last year you spent your birthday doing canola.
Yeah.
And I probably spent it doing wheat as well last year, so
Probably.
my birthday is always wheat harvest.
So is mine. Twinning! When I was born, did you think I would be born on your birthday?
No, I thought you were going to be born sooner than you were.
Oh. You know how dope it would have been if we shared a birthday?
No, because I don't like sharing things. You don't want your birthday. You don't want your birthday shared with a parent. That sucks.
We are on our last pass of wheat harvest. When did we start? 14th or something like that? I have to go back. Jess is in the combine with Mark. She got home from work and just hopped on with me for a bit, and then I gave her the camera and said, hop on with your dad. A nice job to kind of finish off on his birthday. I think the only birthday present he wanted was an inch or two of rain, but
Look at that. Last pass of wheat harvest 2022. What do you have to say, Dad?
Sometimes you're very happy to finish, to get a field combine, so you don't have to drive by and look at it anymore.
And this is one of them.
This is one of them. So it did really well considering how crappy it looked all fall, spring. It looked okay, but the dry weather was really tough on it too. So
Yep.
I think it probably is going to be like, it's going to be close to 90 bushels, which I would, like, you can't complain.
Yep. Look at that. Jeez.
Dusty.
Very dusty.
good morning. It is Wednesday and it is the day after wheat harvest, so we're all feeling a little like kind of relieved, kind of wishing for rain. Me, on the other hand, I have a whole bunch of jobs awaiting for me in the sheep barn, so we are gonna head there right now. Chris is waiting for me. We're gonna hoof trim and vaccinate my ladies that are due in, like 6 weeks already, barely. And Charlie comes tomorrow to shear them. Right, we have all the ladies in here, fully fleeced, so we're hoping they will fit okay. Typically I like to shear them at 8 weeks prior to lambing, but I couldn't get Charlie. And we were busy in the fields anyway, so this worked out okay for tomorrow for him to come. So to keep on kind of on schedule, I like to vaccinate between 4 and 6 weeks, closer to 6 weeks pre-lambing, for them to get their Clostridial vaccine, because it goes through their colostrum and that's how their lambs get protected. So I like to get it into their system in lots of time before they start lambing. These guys are synchronized, so a lot of the lambing will take place in that first week of September, like September 5th. So they should be good if we vaccinate them today. So we're gonna vaccinate hoof trim. So that's what Chris is doing. If anything born from 2019 or younger will get gland vac, because they're on the new program. Anything older than 2018 will get TASVax. Both clostridial protection, but the gland vac has the added CL protection. And we have CL in this flock. One more foot. You did this one already, Carissa? Ooh. You and I. Hello. Get rid of these two. This morning was a battle of the wills, maybe, because my ewes are really woolly and they're not overly big. Actually, their conditioning's pretty good, but I've got some really tall, fluffy Suffolks. And they take up a lot of room in that turntable, and they were just convinced that they wouldn't fit. So it took a little longer than it probably should have this morning, but it's done. They're vaccinated. The one thing I asked Chris, I said, do you find that there's not many older ones? And she said, yeah, I'm barely using any TASVax. And I said, well, this is the first group that I went through pretty hardcore and made some decisions on the older ewes in the flock, just because they're the ones that are really causing me, they're the ones that I'm really noticing are going down with pregnancy toxemia. I'm kind of doing my best to get rid of issues before I see them at lambing time, because to take them through the whole cycle only to have them go down right when you want them to lamb is, or after they lamb is, it's frustrating and discouraging. So yeah, so we did some pretty hard decisions when I went through and did that udder evaluation on this group. All right, well, now I think I'm gonna set up across the road and get these lambs ready to go on the trailer and get there and back, because we have a big day tomorrow with Charlie. I think I might need a good night's sleep tonight. And guys, look, rain. That is glorious. Oh my goodness. Mark finally got his birthday present a day late. 40% of less than a mil is so much nicer to see on our forecast than 100% of like 10 mil, because those never happen. I am so grateful. Whoever's keeping us at the top of their minds, I'm forever thankful. This is beautiful. Nice warm rain. Totally unpredicted. It's even better. Morning guys, it's Thursday. Today's gonna be a really busy day. Charlie's gonna be here after 10. We're sitting before, it's not quite 8 o'clock right now. It's also the day that I'm scheduled to take out the boys, like it's the big breakup today. But I'm not so sure there's still a little bit of action, so I don't wanna take them out if they need one more day. But then at Christmas time, when I'm waiting for them to lamb, I'm gonna be cursing myself that I didn't pull them the day that they were scheduled to get pulled. So I'm not sure what to do. Ladies, do we need more time? We've had a little change of plans. Charlie got a call from his wife. He was on his way here. She said, Charlie, we have no water on the farm. So he turned and burned and went back home. So I think we are planning for tomorrow, as long as it's not a big fix. So I may as well tell you guys what the big surprise is for my retirees. If you remember, if you've been with me for a while on the channel, we've always had this pasture. We had cows here, beef cows here. Well, my first couple years vlogging, you would have seen them. We had some Herefords. This pasture's just been kind of sitting dormant. We were thinking about ripping it out. When I talked to Mark about always kind of wanting to keep a few ewes, I don't want to breed them, I just want to keep them because they're kind of near and dear to my heart. He's like, Sandy, that's not our business model. And I said, no, I realize that, but I said, I also can't bring myself to put him on a truck. He could, but I'm not gonna let him. So I said, what is your thoughts on creating a little retirement village for my ewes? This pasture is not big enough. It's like maybe an acre, maybe. So they're gonna be in this pasture, and then it loops around the barn, and we have kind of a cement pad back there, and then they have access to the barn at the back too. So there's a little spot for them to get out of the sun and out of the heat. It will be an interesting little experiment, even to see how sheep are out here. I know a lot of people condemn me for having my sheep inside, even though it's literally, they're basically outside with shade. But it would be interesting. I'd like to know how much time they actually spend inside versus outside, given the choice of both. The pasture's big enough for how many I have, but most definitely not big enough for making this a part of my system. Is pasture completely out of the picture forever and ever? Mark and I are never 100% closed-minded to anything. It's just not feasible right now in our life. So we're gonna give this a go. I'm very excited. The beef cows left a little bit of a mess on the, they left a little bit of a mess back at the back on the pad. So I wanna clean that up and put it in the manure pile and just get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow I believe Brussels is coming to fix my fence. So that's what I've been waiting for. We've been waiting pretty much all summer. They are bombarded with people putting up fence or fixing fence. So I finally got my name on the books for tomorrow. So that's been the big surprise. Very excited about it. Okay, so I'm just moving this little bit of manure here, but this is the access into the barn at the back here. We are done. Looks a little better. Hi, baby. Hi. I know, I got the camera. You haven't seen it in a while. Hi. the only brave one. The rest come after. Hi, Red. Yeah. No, no.